Hello, I am Adenika Irby-Shabazz, and here is my data talk video. I interviewed Dr. Jerome Molden. He is an associate professor at North Carolina A&T State University, and he teaches immunology, cell biology, and at least one other biology class on campus, because my goal is to become a college professor. That is actually why I am going to leave this program and start my PhD in bioscience next semester. But so some things that he said is how he usually pays attention to the students, engage their participation, which is then how he can decide how to go about his assessments, because then if he notices, oh, they kind of got quiet at this part, he might include a question in there just to verify whether or not they actually understood the topic, because how he structured his immunology class specifically is he gave a quiz at the beginning of each class going over what they discussed in the class before, just to talk about the heavy hitters and the most important information, and then from there would then go over the assessments with the students the following class after they got their grade, so they could go over why they got a question wrong, etc. And that is what he would do for those assessments. And then he gave bigger quizzes or test exams like once every month or so. I can't really remember how often, but that is how he went about using assessments to then gauge a student's success. Being a college professor, he didn't necessarily have time to go to each individual student, even though he would open up his office hours and and even end class a little early so that any students that did have questions could come up to him and get to where they needed to be. Because one thing I like about the college classroom in particular is that the responsibility of learning falls more on the student compared to the teacher, which is one thing I really appreciate about college professors is your success depends on how much you want it as well, which is something you do miss with K through 12 because a lot of kids are in there just because they have to be. He would use Blackboard to track his data. So if he sees one student is falling behind, he might reach out or for sure tell them, hey, come to my office hours this day. Let's talk about what happened, what needs to happen. He can also use Blackboard itself to notify the students, like, hey, you're not doing very well. Would you like to see me in my office hours? Do you need extensions on things? Like, how can I be best of assistance? And then he will reteach things. So like I said, if he was doing an assessment and he saw a lot of these questions got wrong, he would reteach that question and try to get there, try to bring back the understanding so that everybody could be on the same page. And then yeah, biggest thing was office hours, making the student come to him about their understanding and where they need to grow, which I really appreciate. So in conclusion, how I would utilize what he said is essentially do a lot of the same things. I think I would do a better job about reaching out to students, especially if they're biology majors. I might even do, like, if I have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course, like every other week, Friday might be hey, if you have a C or lower in my class, you have to come to class and we have to do remediation and things of that nature. So that is really all to say. Yeah, bye-bye.